Welcome to Alchemize Yourself Tarot. Many of you are going through a major awakening when it comes to your emotional investment in a particular person. Because when you get too emotionally invested, you tend to invest material, resources, your time, your efforts, your mental capacity. Some of you are at capacity here, and it's kind of driving you a little, the 8 and 9 of Swords, it's kind of driving you a little crazy, because I feel like you came in really strong into this connection to give, to, initiate romance, to make somebody happy. And the problem with really being overly focused on making another person happy, you tend to start to sacrifice your own needs. It tends to throw things off balance, especially if there's emotional immaturity, if somebody's not ready to meet you where you're at, and especially when you're abandoning your own wish fulfillment in order to keep somebody else happy. So what I see here in this dynamic is you definitely came in really strong here, or somebody did. Now the roles could be reversed. It just depends. This is all about your emotional investment, can be about power dynamics as well, right? The person who's more emotionally invested tends to kind of surrender their power to the other person. In a way, because it's not really balanced or reciprocated. So you made yourself very available to this person, but they really quickly started indulging in that. It made them happy that you have been putting in the effort. You've been the one trying to create or build something with this relationship. Now, this doesn't always have to be just romantic. I'm getting that it's a romantic connection, but what has ended up happening here, what's playing out is similar to kind of a spoiled child. This person has become a spoiled child. Now, some of you have a child that you may have overindulged in or over-invested in. Even with children, you have to balance. You can't give them everything that they want. This person may be kind of bratty, like a spoiled child. Maybe they're always used to being the one that's indulged. I'm getting like a high chair queen, a high chair kind of queen energy, like somebody that's used to being spoiled. So they're not used to having to make the effort. So the problem is that you are fulfilling their wishes while abandoning your own, and you've made every effort to build and work with them, but they haven't been showing you, they've been showing you time and again that they could care less, right? Somebody in Page of Wands in the reverse, or 5 of Swords in the reverse, this is somebody that really could care less. In fact, they're extremely childish. They may even enjoy sabotaging your efforts. It's like they kind of get off on you being like a servant to them, is what I'm getting. Or I'm getting like they kind of indulge in like the game of seeing how much you're willing to do with them. I don't like this energy at all, and I sure hope this is not resonating with anyone, but I'm doing the reading instead because I do think it reveals interesting dynamics, especially when you're overextending and overgiving to somebody. This is a problem that can happen. So yeah, they're getting amusement. They like leaving you feeling defeated and depleted. It's like this person really is indulging in this very immature, bratty energy. But it's coming from a place of ego and lack of esteem, because somebody that really has a strong sense of themselves and a healthy sense of confidence and ego, they don't feel the need to pull you down. You're actually the more elevated person here, but they like destroying your ego. They like destroying what you're trying to do. They get off on that. It's very narcissistic to take somebody off the pedestal, right? Because it feeds their ego, because they don't have a strong sense of ego. You know, narcissists will come off as very arrogant and prideful, but really that's coming from a very fragmented, fragile ego. And that's what I'm getting from this person. If they're not actually a child, it's like they throw it back in your face, like, it's like they're very ungrateful for anything that you do for them. So this is really blocking your growth and your abundance, right? It's blocking your creativity, because these efforts are not being appreciated. They're not able to grow your seeds. Anything that you try to plant with this person, it's a complete waste of time. So some of you have tried to make some progress here. Some of you are working on a career. You're not really giving this person as much attention. So they might be playing out some sort of weird egotistical antic to try to get your attention. They're like playing on your emotions, but it's actually maybe even affecting your health. I would be aware of somebody like this, because it's going to affect every area of your life if you are feeding too much of your effort and your time, your energy into a person that's basically sabotaging and ruining every bit of progress that you try to make. And this person, the only thing that would help here is for them to grow up, for one thing. But also, it's like they want to appeal to your emotions. It's still going to be like a very emotionally codependent dynamic, even if they were to change some of their attitude. Like, someone's just really acting out. I don't know who this is going to resonate with. Collective, I don't know who you're dealing with, but I don't like them. I think there's nothing left to do here. I think you're at a breaking point, Ten of Swords. This is not somebody that's a partner. This is somebody that needs to be mothered. They don't need to be in a partnership at all. And if they're like a child, it could be that maybe they're an adult child. They need to leave the nest. You need to set some boundaries with them, because it's like you're either in a relationship dynamic where you've taken on the mothering role, or there's like a needy, codependent child dynamic going on here, but it's unhealthy, right? It's not normal. You know, when children are young and little, there's going to be neediness and codependency, but once they become teenagers and adults, you have to make that push. And something about that mother-child dynamic is playing out here. That could be something that you may need to explore, why you want to nurture and take care of somebody, but it also is for them to explore why they need more of a parent than a partner. So what are you giving emotionally? You're definitely trying to build something. This could even be like if you have a business, this could be somebody that works for you. I'm just getting like a dynamic where somebody that's they're acting out. They're like a subordinate, but they're actually sabotaging. It's a battlefield. Yeah. Fighting, arguments, disagreements. You're not on the same page with this person. You have very different ideas of what you want to do. That's that 5 of Swords. You're tired of fighting with this person. And you're putting way too much of your energy into fighting with this person. It's like they trigger you. They like to dysregulate you in some way. They make you angry. It's like, even when you do nice things for them, it's like somebody knocking over everything on a table. They're throwing a tantrum, no matter what you do. And what are they giving you? This Page of Wands in the reverse. They're acting out. They're acting like a child. What are they giving you? Voodoo doll. Yeah, they're giving you manipulation. They have bad influence. They could be onto something really dark here. This is somebody very manipulative. They scheme. They're bratty. They like to get their way. And you're overextending by even engaging. In fact, many of you have been pulling back. You're no longer engaging with this. You're on to them. Spirit is saying that you don't need to be engaging with them at all. That's exactly what they want. You're trying to build something and they're coming in and they're jealous. People that are controlling and bratty and in their ego, they get jealous anytime that you're trying to create something. Nature calls. So you're overextending. Some of you have stopped. You're getting back in tune with yourself. You're grounding yourself. You definitely need to ground yourself with people like this, because they're maybe constantly trying to just run their mouth. I'm getting somebody that runs their mouth, right? And you may even have to go outside and get away from this person, because they're withholding true abundance and nurturing from you. They're definitely not nurturing whatever you're trying to create here, and they're not appreciating it. Yeah, they don't recognize that you're going through a transformation. This person's holding you back from a transformation. They're jealous. Period, point blank. Whether it's a partner or a child, they are jealous that you're starting to glow up. You're starting to do really well for yourself. You're maybe getting a new job, a career. You're creating something. You're rebuilding your life. Some of you've already broken up with this person. That's for sure. And you have like a jealous ex, or, a child that feels entitled in some way to still receive a lot from you. But the imbalance is Temperance in the reverse. It's very imbalanced. This person's going to be an energy vampire. Yeah, consuming passion, sexual chemistry, infatuation. So the imbalance is this person could really use lust and chemistry. It's like they seduce you, so sometimes there's a lot of chemistry, but I'm seeing that you're getting turned off by it. But I'm getting that they use that for control. They like to get you worked up. There's a lot of passion, a lot of breakup to make up, blessed union, meant to be together, love that transform. That's the manipulation. They use lust to keep you tied to them. And just people don't have to be putting spells in a jar to hex you, right? Think about energy. People can use lust as a way to manipulate and control and keep you emotionally dysregulated. Think about how it affects your energy when you're giving into those desires with somebody. And I feel like this person knows that. They could be really lusty, very passionate, very fiery. And maybe in the past, you felt like you were meant to be with this person. They seduced you, and you're waking up to that. Because what's shifting is the Six of Cups. This person's going to try to love bomb you. I totally get that. Like I said, if you've broken up with this person or kicked them out, they're going to try to come back in with sweet, that Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is a love bomber, right? They can be charming but I feel like you've already been turned off by this person. You're already on to them, but this is a warning. Somebody could come in really sweet, cuddly. They're going to appeal to your emotions. They'll bring up good memories the two of you had together. But it's all, we're meant to be together. What about all these great times we had? And they're doing that to make you forget about why you left them, why you broke up with them, right? The infinite abundance. Knowing your self-worth and value, I think, is what's important here. You need to remember who you are becoming. This person doesn't want that. They don't want to see you rise up. They don't want to see you do better. And sometimes we do have to listen to some of these karmic-y readings so we remember how far we've come. You're stepping into abundance. Some of you may even be meeting somebody that's a better fitting partner for you, and this person is jealous. They don't like it. And if it's a child, it's almost like a sick, twisted, like they're almost jealous of you having a new partner. Be aware of that, especially if they have immaturity or codependency issues. But this is going to be the nail in the coffin. Whatever tactics this person tries to use, it's going to be a huge turnoff for you. Or you're going to have to really go no contact or end things once and for all, because battle wounds, they want it to be an ongoing battle, hurt in the past. They're going to come in making it seem like, oh, we were great together. But all you remember is how awful it was. This person's very sneaky. I don't know, collective. I don't know who you're dealing with. But it's wishful thinking, right? This person's like wishing and hoping that they can restore something from the past. This person lives in the past. People in their ego, or people that have like narcissistic tendencies, they tend to want to relive their glory days, right? They try to reconnect with supply because it feeds their ego. It feeds their fantasies. It's escapism. And they're greedy. They're materialistic. They're possessive. They're selfish. Ooh, I don't know. I do not know. But somebody needs to know this, or you just need confirmation that you're not crazy. Because people like this, they destabilize you and they gaslight you. They'll make you doubt whether or not you should have ended things. They'll kind of gaslight you about the past. Oh, remember how great it was. Remember how great we were together. Battle wins. I don't like it. And they're very manipulative. They know all your tricks. This is somebody that kind of knows the game that they're playing. This could be a masculine or a feminine. I'm seeing somebody that's really distorted, toxic masculine, toxic feminine, somebody that really plays up that victim, but they're actually the persecutor, right? They're actually the abuser. Overcoming, you're on the road to recovery from a rough patch in life. The worst is over. Yeah, you're recovering. And if you allow this person back into your energy, they're going to try to destabilize you again. They may put on a mask. I give it no more than a week or two, maybe a month. They're not going to be able to wear that mask for very long before you would just repeat the cycle again. So the worst is over. Some of you are over and done. It's like you're licking your wounds and you're recovering. You're grounding yourself. You're rebuilding your life. Someone wants to sabotage you rebuilding your life, and they're inflexible. Yeah, they're all about themselves. People that are selfish are all about themselves. They will never work with you. There's a need to yield in this situation, release the need to be right or have things a certain way. Sometimes the outcome may look differently than imagined. Yeah, I feel like you're surrendering. I think you're done with dealing with this person's inflexibility. It's literally like a high chair, that archetype of the high chair king, the high chair queen kind of dynamic, total brat. They're used to having it their way. And then we have dismissive. There is a lack of consideration around something that, if left unacknowledged, may create hurt feelings or hostility. Yeah, they're very dismissive of anything that you try to do. It's like this person will never be happy. They just can't be happy. People like this are bottomless pits because they need external validation for better or worse, like a bratty kid. They don't mind if it's negative. It's attention, right? They feed off of that. So it's nothing you do will ever be good enough for them. And you have setting expectations. Having a clear vision of the end goal will allow you to plan accordingly. Yeah, you need to set expectations moving forward. Sometimes we get into connections like this when we're not really clear about what we want. You kind of fall into a pattern, and it's not that you were consciously aware of it. You just unconsciously are a people pleaser, or you tend to nurture and overindulge people that don't really deserve that amount of effort. And you're learning that. You're unraveling dysfunction. Correcting learned patterns will create a healthier foundation for your relationships. Yeah, you're unraveling this dysfunction right now. That's the important aspect of this reading, is that's what we're here to do. We're here to unravel the dysfunction. That way you don't repeat it. That way you don't let them come back in. That way you start to set expectations and boundaries for yourself. This person has no boundaries at all. I don't think they were ever taught boundaries. I think they were probably indulged. Be clear about where you are putting your focus right now. Focus on your desired outcome. You have everything within to create the life of your dreams. Stop doubting yourself for once. This is your time. You've got you. Yeah, this person maybe really had you doubting yourself. But you're setting clear focus, expectations for yourself. And I really hope this helped you, because, it's not the nicest of readings, but it is confirmation for some of you about dynamics, or it's warning about getting into these dynamics as well. Not allowing yourself to just self-abandon in order to keep someone else happy, because that's going to throw you off of your destined path. So please like, share, and subscribe. And I wish you the best of luck, guys. Love you guys. Bye.